Hey everybody, Trader Mike here back with you. In the last video we looked at the Dow transports and we kind of just looked at sort of the bigger perspective of things on the transports, and we didn't really get too technical with the charts. But now with the S&P, I normally trade off the S&P, and I like to look at moves on a smaller time frame picture with support and resistance and technical indicators and how the S&P is looking to react to them. So right now we have an S&P chart goes back to November of 2009, and you can see this top purple line here and this bottom purple line here. And notice how through the beginning of November all the way into December we've traded in this channel. Now on the last down move that we had in the market, we kind of chopped around in this channel and just sold straight through it. Now we have finally regained back up into this channel. Now notice what I'm looking at here. This is around 11.13 to 11.16 on the S&P, where it was the highs over here in the channel where we couldn't break above, and it acted as support on the downside here. Now I'm looking for somewhere in this area of this high, whether it is right here where we are now or coming up, to act as some sort of resistance in this market to the upside. And that is pure resistance to the upside in the market. Now what we also have here is, you see this big line here, this is called the Fibonacci retracement, and from the highs in the S&P to the last swing low, we've actually rallied up right around here. It shows it right here, 61.8% retracement on the S&P, which is one of the key lines that people and traders that use Fibonacci retracement to use it to sell or buy the market if it breaks that. Another indicator that we do have that is in the way of the S&P moving to the upside is also this 50 period moving average, which we closed just, it looks like we closed just right above it here in the S&P. And the last thing I do want to take a look at here on this chart is the stochastics. Right down here, it's showing that we do have a reading of overbought in the stochastics. But the only reason why I don't put too much faith in these stochastics is because, as prior over here and over here back in early November, we could just become embedded in this in the overbought of the stochastics, and we can continue to push to the upside. But overall in the S&P, we have the 61.8% fib, an area of resistance, and the 50 period moving average, combined with overbought stochastics in the market right now. So that is four signals for me that either the S&P is going to sell off this area, or it's going to stay in the area where it is now and it's going to move sideways, some type of sideways consolidation in the S&P, which I'll actually draw in. So if we do have some kind of sideways consolidation, it might look something like that. Oops, let me move this back over for you. It might move, it looks, oh, why isn't this chart working for me? It might look something like this as a flag, or we might just consolidate right underneath this line of support. And this would be very bullish to see us move sideways right underneath this Fibonacci retracement and this area of resistance and break out higher to the upside. If we do not consolidate here, I would definitely look to see the market bounce off this area 11.13 to 11.16, and possibly do have a pullback to the next area of clear heavy support, which is around 1084, 1085 in the S&P, which I am looking at. Right now I'm kind of neutral on the markets, waiting for the markets to make a first move, because one, I was at the trade show and I did take a hedge, but on the way up here in the market, I see this area, I saw this area starting to come up, and I have been adding to my hedge. Now if we do start to consolidate and then start to break higher, I will take my hedge off and let my whole portfolio go long. But until we see some sort of move in the market, which is probably going to be first 3-4 days of this week, is going to be the deciding factor of the short-term market direction. Come check out the next video. I'm going to have review of the watch list from 2 weeks ago.